Today we will be focusing on how to negotiate both security deposits and good guy guarantees in retail and office leases. When it comes to how much of protection a landlord needs by way of the amount of security and the type of GGG it requires, landlords need to channel the one and only Zen master, yes, namely Phil Jackson, and ask themselves the Zen-like question, how much is enough? Conversely, if on the tenant side, make it your mantra to channel rock legend Pete Townshend's hit song, Just a Little Is Enough, when it comes to deciding upon one, how much security deposit you're willing to give, and two, how many or how much little steroid-laced legal and business points you will agree to in the good guy guarantee that you will need to sign. Let's jump right into it by way of example. On a 10,000 square foot office lease renting at $50 a square foot with the $50 work letter, 6 months of rent concessions and brokers on both sides. In the first 6 to 9 months of a deal, depending on whose calculator you are using, the landlord will be laying out approximately $1.2 million in costs. How a landlord underwrites its risk when contrasted with the amount of security deposit is very important. Is it going to be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months? 12 months in that example is $600,000 compared to the 1.2 that's being laid out. So you know what the landlord is feeling when they're underwriting a deal. With this backdrop all set, the following is my sweet 16 financial and non-financial concerns that a landlord will throw into its analytical blender to arrive at the amount of security deposit it will require when the tenant's broker serves up this concession-like cocktail. Number one, will the tenant's principal sign a good guy guarantee? 2, what is the strength of the tenant by looking at both its financial statements, the profit and loss, and the balance sheet? Number 3, what's their historical track record? 4, is it an office or retail lease? Think on an office lease, more money is being laid out. 5, what's the term? 6, what are the amount of concessions and allowances being requested? 7, is it a nonprofit or a trade association? 8 and 9, a shell entity or a foreign entity? 10, how much skin does the tenant have in the game? 11, is the brokerage commission schedule and the free rent concessions being given all up front, or is it being spread out over the first year or two? 12, is the security deposit based upon the first, the last, or the average rental over the term of the lease? 13, does the tenant have a burn baby burn mindset and is requesting a burn down of its security deposit at a later point in time? 14, is the security deposit in the form of a cash security deposit or a letter of credit? Think that because of bankruptcy rules, that with the cash security deposit, there's more risk to a landlord. 15, will the tenant to agree to deposit additional security deposit as the rent increases during the term of the lease? And 16, for small landlords out there, will the landlord agree, or better put, will the tenant agree to allow the landlord to commingle the security deposit? The short version is the greater the concessions, the shorter the lease term, the higher the risks, and the worse the financials of the tenant, the stronger the dose of legal and business steroids that will be put into the good guy guarantee, but the larger the security deposit is going to be. You'll have to wait till next time until we talk about all these various landmines that landlords have put into their good guy guarantees.